All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a story that starts in the darkest moment of grief and confusion at a borrowed tomb and ends with a mission that would literally change the world. We're talking about Matthew 28, the eyewitness account of a victory over death that reshaped human history forever.
So let's really dig into this account from the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to explore what the text actually says, what it would have meant to the people who heard it first, and, why it still has such a massive impact 2,000 years later.
So here's how we're going to walk through this incredible story. We'll start with that shocking discovery at dawn. Then we'll look at the message of hope that came with it, the moment the risen Christ himself appears. Then this bizarre cover-up attempt, and finally, the mission that was launched for the entire world.
Okay, so picture this. It's just as Sunday is dawning. Two women, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, are making their way to the tomb where Jesus was buried. They're expecting a quiet, somber scene of grief, but what they find is something else entirely. I mean, right out of the gate, Matthew makes it absolutely clear this is not some quiet, normal event. This wasn't just a stone that was somehow found rolled away. The account describes a massive earthquake and an angel coming down from heaven to move the stone himself. This was an event so powerful, so terrifying, that it left professional Roman guards completely paralyzed, like dead men.
Let's just pause on this for a second, because every single detail here is pointing to something way beyond human explanation. You've got this earthquake, which in the Bible often signals that God is acting in a big way. You have an angel whose appearance is described as being like lightning. And the reaction of these guards, we're talking trained soldiers, not just anybody. They are literally paralyzed with fear. This just underscores the overwhelming divine power of this moment.
And from this, terrifying display of power, comes this incredible message, and it's delivered by that same terrifying angel to these totally stunned women, but his tone with them is completely different than what the guards experienced.
The angel's very first words to the women are so important. You stop being afraid. He immediately separates them from the guards. He's saying, you're not the enemy here. I know who you're looking for. And then he delivers the single most important message in human history.
And this right here, this is the absolute heart of it all. The angel doesn't present the empty tomb as some kind of weird mystery to be solved. He presents it as a promise fulfilled. Those 4 words, just as he said, are everything. He's pointing right back to Jesus' own predictions that he would rise from the dead. This isn't some random, shocking thing. It's the ultimate confirmation that everything Jesus said was true.
So the women get this command, go quickly and tell his disciples. And as they're rushing off to obey, the text says they're filled with this incredible mixture of fear and great joy. Can you even imagine? And it's in that exact state of mind that they get an even more direct, even more personal confirmation. This is it, the first appearance of the risen Jesus in Matthew's entire account. And the details here are so specific and so physical. This is not a vision. It's not some ghostly encounter. The women physically grab hold of his feet. He is real, he's tangible, and he is standing right there with them. And this moment, it just shows this profound shift that's happened. Their first immediate response is to worship him. And then listen to his words, go tell my brothers. Biblical references point out that this is the first time in the entire Gospel of Matthew that he calls his disciples that. It signals a fundamental change in their relationship. They're not just his students anymore, they're now the brothers of the risen king.
Okay, so while all this incredible, world-changing good news is breaking, the narrative cuts to a totally different scene. The women are running with the best news in history. But the guards? They're running back to the religious authorities in Jerusalem with a huge problem.
So, what do the chief priests and elders do when they're faced with this unbelievable report of a supernatural event? Do they investigate it? Nope. They immediately switch into damage control mode. It's kind of crazy, right? First they paid Judas to betray him, and now they're paying off the guards with a huge bribe to spread a lie about his resurrection. They're literally inventing an official story to try and fight the truth.
I mean, just stop and think about the story they cook up. It's completely illogical. If the guards were asleep, how on earth could they have seen the disciples steal the body? They couldn't be witnesses to anything. And for a Roman soldier, falling asleep on guard duty was a crime punishable by death. The lie itself is so weak, which just goes to show how desperate they were to suppress a truth they just could not explain away.
And that brings us to the final scene, the grand finale of Matthew's Gospel. The narrative shifts from all the drama in Jerusalem to a mountain in Galilee. This is where Jesus gives his followers their final instructions. the mission that's going to define them and the entire Christian faith from this moment on.
Jesus kicks this off with one of the most staggering claims in the entire Bible. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Wow. I mean, that is the foundation for everything he's about to say. Because he holds all authority, what comes next isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a command. This is what's famously known as the Great Commission.
So he lays out this clear three-part instruction, and it becomes the core mission for all of his followers. The vision is massive, it's global, all the nations. The process involves a public declaration through baptism, and then deep, ongoing teaching in all the things he commanded. This right here is the blueprint for the movement that's about to explode across the world.
But here's the thing. He doesn't just give them this monumental, seemingly impossible task and say good luck. He ends with maybe one of the most powerful and comforting promises in all of Scripture, his own personal, unending presence with them. He's not sending them out to do this alone. He's going with them.
So, when you boil it all down, the key takeaway from Matthew 28 is that the resurrection wasn't just a historical event to be observed. It was a reality meant to completely transform people. It all started with a few women running from an empty tomb, filled with that crazy mix of fear and overwhelming joy. And it ended with a command to take that reality to the entire world, all backed by the promise that he would be with them always. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.